Okay, everyone. It's time to take a look at more of the madness that is going on around the world. Project Bluebeam. Now, this is not just about holographic imaging, folks. This is about a fully orchestrated, long-term charade, leading to the ultimate New World Order agenda. A one-world government.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
And that is what this is all about. A great deception. A means to confuse, fool, and cause panic among the masses. To destroy old beliefs and bring in new religion. To expand military and power. All for the sake of holding on to what the powers that be value the most. Control. And the expansion of an empire. We already know that the people who run the governments around the world lie to us on a regular basis. And many people live out their entire lives and go to the grave believing some of these lies. For example, now pay attention because this is important. If you investigate the temperature of our sun, you will find a broad range of various numbers, from thousands of degrees Fahrenheit to millions of degrees Fahrenheit. We have been led to the understanding that the sun is indeed a giant hot sphere of burning gases. And that, my friends, is a lie. The sun is not hot. It is light energy. It is the earth and its atmosphere that creates the heat. Go to one of the hottest places on earth, get in a hot air balloon, and float towards the sun. It doesn't get hotter, it gets colder. Much, much colder. In fact, in space, it's hundreds of degrees below zero. You've seen footage of a giant ball of fire. Well, can anyone explain to me how fire burns in a vacuum? The media always shows us things exploding in space, the same way they explode here on the surface, into a display of fireworks. And that's just not how it works. Now, knowing this changes a few things about the possibilities of our sun, the stars, and our universe. Think about this, and this is hidden in plain sight, folks. With all the ancient documentation of beings traveling across the stars into our solar system, with all of the great ancient structures thought to be stargates, what do the stars have anything to do with traveling through space and time in other dimensions? Is it because the sun and the stars are gateways themselves? And the perfect way to get you to leave this possibility alone is to get you to believe that the sun and the stars are too hot and no one can go near them. And it's not like you can go see for yourself anyways. So we collectively accept that idea as truth and live with it. Look at the scumbags at NASA. They run nothing more than a very expensive movie studio, and their productions cost billions of dollars. We've all seen Hollywood films that cost as much as around $300 million to produce. Imagine a movie that cost billions. You could probably imagine that not only would the movie be visually jaw-dropping, but it would be very long and very interactive. I wonder what the movie would be about. Maybe it would be about the same thing that every other third movie that's released is about. An alien invasion of some sort. But that's what NASA is all about. Fakery. It is a public front for what the true space program is. The design of the space shuttles we see being used by NASA today are as old as dirt. In the true space program, it is far more advanced by many years. They know how to use anti-gravity and build UFOs. They have the advanced laser weaponry. They know how to use levitation to suck you up in the sky coming out of your front door. They know how to create solid-looking 3D holographic images that you can touch with sound. They have the technology to use frequencies to implant replicated thoughts, because all words and thoughts have a frequency, and they can transmit this frequency to you. This has been proven. With that said, yes, it is very possible to fake an alien invasion on a global scale. Now, keep in mind that the idea of aliens has been around since the beginning. Thousands of years of human history. We are way past the point of disclosure, folks. And because so many people already believe that the aliens and UFOs are real, it's easy to fool them with fake ones. They have already practiced doing this. Not every UFO is from another world, not every creature seen is from another planet, and not every image seen in the sky is natural. So yes, they can do this. The question is why? Which brings us to the Great Deception. And this is basically how it works. They create the illusion that alien craft have entered our atmosphere using sophisticated holographic imaging over the major cities of the world. They then simulate UFO landings using man-made anti-gravity craft that they already have. They also simulate the alien beings using advanced robotics and Hollywood magic. Next comes the mass kidnapping of many people around the world to simulate alien abductions. They will use weapons on people that most have never seen before or even heard of. This will cause mass panic and uprising. In the midst of all this, they are hoping that many will abandon their religious beliefs and bow down to a new savior. They want to introduce a false messiah. All of this would take place in the span of several years, mind you. Their intent is to form a new religion, adopting many of the satanic ritualistic practices of the past, making them commonplace. Like a virus, it would eventually consume us to the point of a one-world religion and government. Not just to become a standalone empire, but to become the capital of an intergalactic empire. Now, this is a Nazi idea, one of Hitler's plans for global domination, and I admit, it's a little hard to swallow. But, if you did want to organize a new world order very quickly, then that would be one way to do it. And from what I understand, the powers that be are way behind schedule. The problems that they are having right now is that in order to pull this off, they have to make sure that they dot all the I's and cross all the T's. All while their efforts are being constantly sabotaged by people and other beings. That's why these bastards at Cern can't get anything done, in spite of all the madness they have hidden below the collider. Honestly, I've grown weary of these people in power and sick of their draconian mentality. We've got some rough times ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen. Things are going to get worse, and we will have to endure some hardships for a period of time. But this will all end in the liberation of good people. And the evil ones will fall, once again. And they will know, you and I will confidently know, who the true God really is. the form of a rocket. The fuel in the rocket is used in a controlled burn to force that energy through the exhaust toward the Earth, giving the rocket the potential energy needed to launch. But even if you do get the rocket to launch, after it gains enough altitude, it begins to lose energy and drag. So, you need more fuel. But adding more fuel means that you're adding more mass to the rocket, which means you're going to need more fuel, which means you're adding mass to the rocket, which means you need more fuel. And you keep going and going until you get this multi-million-pound rocket. Now, you can't burn all the fuel constantly until you get into space. That won't work. Instead, you use a multi-stage system dividing the rocket up into sections that will burn one at a time. So, as you move further away from Earth, the mass of the rocket decreases as it still has enough fuel energy to push it away from Earth. But oh folks, the fun has just begun, because now comes the radiation. If there is anything electronic, even mechanical, and if you are on that rocket, you are going to need radiation shielding beyond belief. Not only that, you're going to have to know where those Van Allen belts are to avoid those zones. Not to mention that the younger you are, the more damaging the radiation will be on your body. If you successfully get through all that, there is another obstacle ahead, one that many people overlook, and one that may prevent future generations from leaving the Earth at all. And that is space junk, debris. You're probably thinking, well, space is big. How bad can it be? Bad. Very bad. You know, you can bury trash made of metals and plastics. Some of it gets into the oceans, but over a period of time, those materials will break down and disintegrate, slowly but surely. But in space, those materials stay there. All those years of launching thousands of satellites, millions and millions of pounds of rockets, still up there. No, there aren't pieces of wreckage floating out into deep space. All that crap is stuck right here in the gravitational field of the Earth, Moon, and Sun. That stuff is going nowhere, unless it is pulled in by one of